wash my hole.
Well, hi everybody, it's Andrew here and welcome to another video in the Overland track series that I'm doing. This video I wanted to share with you a very important part of the trip that didn't come to light until basically we were actually walking, and pretty much walking at the end of day one is when all this came to light really quickly. And that is the equipment that I should have took and the equipment that I didn't need to take but took. So yeah, there was a whole bunch of things in my pack that I hardly ever ended up using. There were a whole bunch of things that I took along for a walk but didn't need, and then there was a whole bunch of things that I should have taken but didn't. Okay, I didn't mention in the disclaimer video that we are not experts, okay? So this is just my experience and my dad's experience as we were doing our first overnight trek anywhere, and first time we done anything of this sort of magnitudes. One thing that is critical on the trip is that you have the least amount of weight in your backpack that you can get away with, okay? Because every single gram that is weighing you down is going to detract from the trip, okay? It's going to make it harder for you. You're going to be more tired. You're going to feel every step along the way sometimes, especially if you're not as fit like my dad and I when we did the Overland track. I think we were prepared, but we weren't really prepared. So every single gram counts. So saying that, I took a whole bunch of electronics equipment. So I ended up taking a little action camera, a bit like a GoPro. I ended up taking my smartphone, which is a big Galaxy Note 4. I ended up taking two compact cameras because just in case one broke, I needed to have another one. And with that came a whole bunch of batteries and chargers and memory card holders and things like that. So all up, I didn't measure how heavy it ended up being. I think it ended up being about 2.5 kilos of electronics equipment that I took with me on the trip. So that was huge overkill, all right? And I'm glad that I took it, all right? But I could have easily got away with one camera. Okay, I easily could have got away with just my GoPro type camera. Ultimately, what you want though is, instead of carrying around all that equipment, you really need the smallest smartphone that you can get your hands on. It is only temporary, remember? So, you know, we could have got away with just taking my dad's, like having one between the two of us. I didn't need to take my smartphone. So yeah, that's something. If you are a photographer, then you really need to take one compact, and that's it, one compact. Okay, before the trip, in my mind, all I could think of was I need to make sure that all the footage is going to be good, that I have, you know, a way to look back and remember this trip. So I'm going to make sure I'm going to take precautions and take a backup camera, etc, etc. On the trip, however, during the walk, I had thoughts in my mind about throwing stuff away because I just did not want to be carrying weight. I did not want to carry an extra 350 gram or 400 gram camera, and I did not want to be taking the extra, you know, 6 or 8 AA batteries that I took just in case I ran out of batteries. So my advice to you is this: make sure you get one really good compact, okay, and one that has the little battery packs, okay, like a Canon, a little Canon point and shoot, they're pretty good, and one spare battery, and that's it. And make sure you have that one SD card. You know, if the photos don't turn out on the trip, well, so be it. You're going to have all the memories anyway. I honestly was not too worried about it. I saw some people with SLRs, you know, some younger guys and girls carrying around their SLR and things like that, and I was just thinking, oh my god, you're insane carrying that weight with you. Just quickly share with you that we took so many really high energy sugary bars that by the second day we were sick of eating them. Like, I normally have no problems eating whatever, but it's just another sickly sweet bar, like mountain bar or whatever they're called, and you're just shoving it down because you know you need the energy, but you know I didn't need it. So I definitely did not need to take as many of those energy bars. You know, you're going to lose some weight. I think I lost 2 kilos in the end of the trip. It wouldn't have hurt if I had lost a couple more. Okay, so getting onto the clothes, there was a whole bunch of clothes that I ended up taking that I didn't need to take, right? And one of them was the socks. I ended up taking, I think, 6 or 7 pairs of the trekking woolly socks. I only ended up using 3 of them. Yes, some of them got a little bit moist, but if you've got your waterproof boots on and you're being a little bit careful about not fully drowning your boots in the mud, then you can get away with a few pair of socks. You don't need many socks. Okay, another thing that I ended up taking that I didn't need to take was a little sort of backpacky contraption that held all my extra equipment and for quick access, and that was like a little bag that I got from eBay. It's a little shoulder sort of number, and it was just really a nuisance a lot of the time because it couldn't sit on the outside of my bag properly, and then if I'm going to put them in my bag, it was just sort of, it had to be at the top all the time, and it was just one of those things that I really probably didn't need to take. And it itself weighed, you know, it itself was extra weight. Like, I didn't need another bag. I had a day pack and I had my backpack. We could have got away with a not a Ziploc bag for all that stuff that was in there. If I had not taken as much electrical equipment, I wouldn't have needed it anyway. Okay, let's switch to the things that I probably should have taken but didn't. And they were, first and foremost, a sewing kit. Okay, so on the very first day after we got off the plane in Launceston, I noticed that my dad's bag had broken through on one of the sections, and we had to go and buy one. So if you want to be prepared, make sure you have a little sewing kit. We went and got one. It was fine because we had an extra day for getting prepared in Launceston, so it was fine. But if you want to be prepared, make sure you have a little sewing kit, emergency sewing kit with you, so that you can stitch up any part of your bag that might break. Came in handy later because my bag also broke and it needed stitching up as well. So something that you probably should factor in with your initial planning. The biggest mistake that I made was not taking gaiters. So gaiters are the sort of plasticky boot-like contraption that you pull over the top of your boots and your socks so that it protects it from the mud. Okay, and this one was super important to take, and I didn't take it because I thought, oh, I'll be fine, I'll be nice and neat and clean. And you know, overall I was neat and clean, but at the expense of my energy levels and health, because I ended up doing a whole bunch of jumping over, like hopping from rock to piece of timber to around the edge of a lot of the track. And that's actually a little bit naughty because it's kind of against the leave no trace principles of trudging through the middle of the track and not widening the track as you're walking by. So I definitely think had I had my gaiters with me, I would have very quickly just said stuff it and would have just trudged straight through a lot of the wet sections. And it would have been fine because the gaiters protect your socks and the part of your shoes, so it would have been not a worry at all. So if you are thinking of not taking gaiters, make sure you do. Very important. Almost everyone had gaiters bar me. Okay, one other quick thing that we didn't end up taking but we should have took was a proper topographic map. We relied on the little booklet that we got from the information office where we picked up our EPIRB, but you can buy those little booklets in a lot of places. Look, that's fine, it was sort of enough to get us by, but it would have just been so awesome to have that map there. Now luckily, when I was speaking to some of the people I met over there, they had one and we could see sort of like the other sections that you're not really privy to in a guidebook, it would have just been good to have a nice proper map of the area. Okay, and you can buy those as well. So if I had my time again, I would have bought one of those because it would have just added to the trip. Okay, and finally, the thing that I should have taken but didn't was the Gatorade or Powerade or any other sort of energy drink, whatever, powder that I had initially planned on taking but didn't end up taking it. Okay, so I thought that with those energy bars that I said I really shouldn't have taken, that will be fine, but what ended up happening was I got extremely dehydrated on the first couple of days. I'm not a big water drinker, and on the first few days, because of the weight of the pack, I took small amounts of water. It was not enough and I got dehydrated and I paid the price for it. The second day, the same thing happened. Had I thought a bit more about it, I don't really like drinking water, so I really should have taken a Gatorade powder, which I had bought but just didn't end up taking, because I would have been drinking a whole lot more. Wouldn't have had to have the bars because I would have felt energized from the sugar in the drink and I would have been drinking more. Okay, if you have any questions, ask in the comments below, say hello, please subscribe. Until next time, bye.